FlossTube. It's Stitchy Witch Brett. I'm here with a demonstration on how I park threads. I'm going to be stitching on my Heaven and Earth Designs Meadow Cottage by Dominic Davison. Here's my pretty little binder with it. Nice front cover. So first of all, I want to show you the basics in parking. So this is one stitch over one. You have your 4 holes and then your stitch. I always start in the lower left hand corner and then I go to the top right, and then I come to the bottom right and then the top left. So when I park my threads, I always go to this number 1 spot. That way I can do my stitch, and then whenever I park it, it's always going to be in this lower left hand corner. So if you come to a thread that's parked, you already know that that's where that stitch goes, because it's always in that same place. So I'm going to go through and show you how I do my parking. So here we have some park threads. I'm starting on this next row here. So the way I do it, I start on the right hand side and I pick the first thread on the right in that row. So I pick it out, and you can look and see that this is the 10th stitch. So on my pattern over here, it's the black square. Mommy. And that means that it's black. So I'm going to look down here below. I don't see it anywhere, so I'm going to do that one stitch and I'm going to tie it off. So I only work in a 10 by 10 square on my pattern. I feel like it's more manageable that way, and it's not such a hot mess everywhere. So we're going to do this stitch and tie it off. So I'll just run it under some stitches back here. This hot mess of a back. I try to. So I'll cut this off because it's not in my next block, and then whenever I come back to it, I'll get it back out. So I usually just wrap this back around my bobbin. But I'm just going to lay it there. Over here I have these Ozark Trail Tuft-Tainers. They have these snaps on them. This pattern calls for 235 colors, and both of these hold all the colors that I need. Alright, so the next one is in this 9th stitch spot. So if you look over here, it shows the 8-ball looking thing. That's what I call it. So we're going to do that one stitch. And down here in the next row, there's 3 different stitches of the same stitch. So I always pick the one farthest to the left and park there. So we're going to do those, or that one. and then park it. The reason I do the park threads from right to left first is because if you try to stitch from left to right, you're going to run into stitching a unparked thread, and it's a lot of trouble. So it's best just to park from the right to the left. That way they're all secure before you start stitching. So on the pattern, it shows it's in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, in the 5th stitch on the bottom row. So we're going to lift these up so we can find it here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Move these out of the way here. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here. So that's the 5th stitch in this bottom row. And then we're going to park it. Now that we've done this one, I'm going to highlight it. I highlight after every one I do. So we're going to go to the next parked thread in this row. And this is in the 7th spot. 7th stitch. So number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have these return arrows, and there's 2 of them, and then we're going to park it in the 6th spot on the bottom row. So we do 2 and then park in the 6th. I'm stitching this on 25 count Lugana in white with CXC threads, all CXC. Alright, so I did those 2 stitches, and I'm going to park it in the 6th row on the bottom, or 6th stitch on the bottom. So 5, 6. So our next one is right here, and that is a little snail symbol. Do you give your symbol names whenever you go through a pattern? No, I do. So we have this one, and then it's going to be parked. Looks like the next one is in the 1st stitch on the 2nd row of the next block. So I'm going to do this stitch here. So you keep working your stitches that are parked first, and then you go through and fill in the empty ones from the left to the right. So second row, 1, 2, first stitch. Excuse my daughter, she's pretty excited over here. The next one, pick it out. This is my little boomerang, crescent moon, whatever you're gonna call it. So whenever you come to the stitches, you can always look at your pattern and know what the next symbol is. So I've done these. My next symbol is the crescent moon, and then that way you know where to park it at. If you always park it in the same place, you always know what stitch it is. That's probably the most important part of parking, is parking it in the same exact place every time. Consistency. So I'm gonna do this one stitch, and then it's gonna be parked. In the next block, third stitch of the first row. There. So we just done the crescent moon here, and the next one is the third stitch. The third stitch in the top row. So we're gonna go to the top row here. 1, 2, 3, and park it. Alright, so I think we got a pretty good gist of how to do it. I would park these next 3, and then the second one would be empty. So I would pick my new color and do it, and then go to the next row, stitch from the left to the, or the right to the left, and then pick a new color from the left to the right. So if you have any questions, please comment below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you for watching, and have a very stitchy week.